Now I hope that doesn't become a new regular trick, because a true negative fish, come on. What up, it's Brandon here, welcome back to Bladies News, your number one rollerblading news source. Once again brought to you by Sweet Moves, the Wellington, New Zealand based rollerblader owned and run moving company. Hit the link in the description to get a quote today. So this is the last episode of Bladies News for the year 2020. The year that was absolutely horrific and terrible for everything except rollerblading. I took 1 week off for my birthday and there is so many things we need to talk about. So let's cut right to the trace by just rolling into industry news. And the first thing I want to talk about today is Biz. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of Biz in This Week in Blade. I found him in episode 1 and instantly tried to let you guys all know about it because I knew this was going to be huge and I knew Biz was going to do an amazing job at telling the news. A much more funny, more entertaining job than I'll ever be able to do. Sadly, he said one of the worst things that can happen to anyone happened to him right now, and I just really wanted to send some love his way. If you somehow are not following Biz on Instagram yet, I highly recommend it. It'll be linked in the description. You should follow him not only to catch all the things that I miss on this show, because he's excellent at getting all the news out there in his stories and in his show, but also because he's always posting heaps of other really cool blading stuff as well, whether it's a funny skit or meme, or just some really dope skating in general. So you're really missing out if you're not following him. And if you really want to help him out, Blade Union has a tier on their Patreon that directly supports Biz and This Week in Blade. I'll link that in the description as well. It only costs like $1, and hopefully we'll be bringing some light to him in such a terrible time. Thinking of you, Biz. On a much lighter note, New Zealand got added to the Australian Rolling Open this year, which is really, really cool because there really isn't many comps at all here in New Zealand, so I really appreciate that personally. For obvious reasons, this year it was an online edit comp that I couldn't enter because I'm injured, and I'm so sad about it because I wanted to enter that so bad. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. What I do want to talk about is something that makes me really New Zealand proud, and that's the fact that 2 New Zealander-run rollerblading brands had pledged to top up the ladies' prize money in this competition to match the men's. These 2 brands are Bootleg Blading and Shred City Skates. They weren't only going to top up the prize money as well, they're also sending out a package from each of their brands and either champagne or a cake depending on the winner's age. I think these companies have earned a little shout out here. So if you don't know, Bootleg Blading is a rollerblading clothing company that's bringing back some bootleg old school rollerblading designs. It's very new, stuff's still coming together for it, but it's definitely something to keep your eye on. It's funny as hell. In Shred City Skates, I talked about it before, but it's New Zealand's only rollerblade skate shop. And it's brand new, and it's something you should be keeping your eye on if you're a New Zealander and you want to buy some skates. But anyway, that's all I want to talk about for that. Speaking of skate shops, if you're a quad skater looking for a new skate shop, there's a brand new one called the Roller Skate Shop that's run by the guys who run Loco. And because of that, I can tell you I highly recommend it because that is a dope skate shop. So definitely check them out. And the final thing I want to talk about is We Are Valo 6. It's finally out, it's finally live, and it's available for purchase in a bunch of places. The creator of this film, Ian, was on the Jump Street podcast talking about why it took so long to come out. And the whole reason it took so long was because Ian wanted to get it on these mainstream platforms, you know, like iTunes and Amazon. And because of that, he obviously needed to get the rights to all the music in it. And that's where all the time went. It went to trying to get licenses for all these music and changing and re-editing when he couldn't use the music he wanted to use. And I think a massive amount of props is deserved from that. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go purchase it. And the more we buy it, the more we get it up the charts on iTunes, the more people will see it and the better it will be for blading. The whole idea is just brilliant, and it's a really, really good film. So definitely go check that out. It'll be linked in the description. And yeah, that's it for industry news. There is so much to talk about here, so let's just move on to everyone's favorite part of the show, product news, brought to you by my clothing brand Lace. At the end of the year, everything I'm selling on that site is going away forever. I'm completely changing the way I do everything, and a lot of the designs I won't be able to make anymore, including the official Blade News mug here. They'll be linked in the description, don't miss out. We're going to start off with skates, and the first one we're going to talk about is Montre's new Pro Sway boot. It's his 3rd Pro boot for USD, and it is sleek, sick, red and white, and beautiful. It features a Monkey King theme, which is dedicated to Montre's grandmother because she used to call him a Monkey King because of how much he's flipping around. To go along with this boot, Crate Original released a signature Pro insert for their frames with the Monkey King theme that'll match the setup perfectly. That also means that Crate Originals should be back at your favorite skate shops. Just to keep talking about USD, we had a couple new things spotted on Instagram. The first one being a new Aeon cuff for this Aeon skate that we saw leaked a while ago, and the second one being a Sam Croft Pro Aeon with a skin that was spotted in his story. Both of these look so dope. And you've probably come to expect this because Julio is always just working on something new. It's a full-time job to keep up with all the new stuff that them's doing. But there's a new limited edition Them 909, and it's a collab with the official Sunday brunch. Pre-orders are live at your favorite skate shop right now. And this skate is just a Them 909 with a Them street frame, a flat setup of the official Sunday brunch wheels, which are a 56mm wheel at 98 hardness. So that'll be dope. Right when I post the last Bladies news, Razor's released another skate, and that is the Razor Colt Charcoal. Once again, a very beautiful looking skate, but not a pro skate like I assumed it would be. Razor's wasn't done there though, because they also went on to tease a new grey Razor Shift. There's even already an edit of Andrew Broome skating it, and it is absolutely insane because it's Andrew Broome, so definitely go check that out. That'll be linked in the description. I'm really hoping that this one will end up being a pro boot for someone, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be. While we're talking about razors, I want to mention that Shima actually did a giveaway trying to get some skates to a kid who had no way of getting some as a Christmas present, which I think is something that's really worth talking about, and that is my dream giveaway. I hope that someday I can do something like that. Rain released a new liner, and it's the Rain V3 high top liner. Now this is pretty much the old one with some slight improvements. They just modestly increased the ankle and tongue padding to offer more support and lengthen the life of the liners. And the rest of the changes were just cosmetic to cut down materials and give them a better look. Powerslide released something really interesting. It's the Powerslide Sabres, which is a blade that can transform any frame into an ice skate, which is very interesting. It can be set up for both a four-wheel skate and a tri-skate. Sonic Sports released a new skate tool that has it all. It's got a Phillips head, it's got a hex key, bearing pusher, a bearing extractor, a bearing press, and a floating spacer aligner. Now this beautiful tool is 7 tools in one, which is crazy to think about. It features a long end that's the perfect length for changing tri-skate frames, and the end of it is perfect for Zebra and F-Fast skates. This is a perfect gift for that rollerblader you don't know what to get for Christmas. You'd think we'll be done there, but I want to move on to talking about some cool rollerblade clothing, and there's a ton of them to talk about, so let's just get through them as quickly as I can. The first one being my favorite out of all of them, and that's the new Vibrolux drop. They have so much cool stuff here, from a button-up shirt to t-shirt to hat to a windbreaker, and this windbreaker looks so sick, and I really think they hit the mark with how cool these designs are here. I'm sure they'll sell out fast, so don't miss out. One Mag brought out an Airborne collection. You heard me right, an Airborne collection, featuring some shots from the movie and some Chris Edwards skating, and all the profits support Chris Edwards or the CE Foundation, which I have no idea what it is, and I tried to look into it and I couldn't work out what it is, but it sounds good. Brooklyn Zoo released the Origin collection, and this is one that you should definitely buy right now because Eugen has 100% earned the support. I'm going to talk about why in the media part, but you should definitely cop this one to support him because it's a dope shirt and it supports his dope skating. Joe Atkinson got a pro long sleeve for Blade Club that just really fits him, I think, quite well. This one isn't so new, but it's something I didn't know about. Alex Burston has his own clothing brand called Shuriken. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. But it features a ton of cool products and it supports a dope pro rollerblader. It's Alex Burston. Definitely check that one out. Hood Panda put together a nice little collection of clothes for him as well, featuring some really dope designs. And finally, Rollerbenders released a new shirt called the Rollerblader Handshake, and I think that just sums it up. And that's finally it for product news. Even though I'm sure I'm forgetting about something really important, I always do. I apologize to whatever I forgot. But anyway, let's move on to my favorite part of the show, media you should check out. Starting off with a 17-year-old doing a double backflip. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to land a single backflip in my life, so definitely go check him out. And then we got the Shadow Chronicles by Eugen Enin, and this is why you should be buying that Brooklyn collection, because this is one of the best sections I've seen all year. Eugen just really pushes the limit of what is possible on rollerblades. You have really missed out if you haven't watched this one because it is just completely on another level. And I know I say that every time there's an edit about Eugen, but I mean it's Eugen, so it always is. But this one especially, it is absolutely ridiculous. The tricks in here, man. I was thinking about this for weeks. Just to give you some highlights, there's a heel clicker over and under a rail. I've never seen that done before. There's a grab torque switch up. Grabbed the whole entire time, but there's also an Eugen edit, so it features cool things like a Mario 64 transition, a GTA loading screen. It's just absolute madness, and it should not be free, man. This thing should be like $100, so definitely go check that one out if you haven't seen it somehow. There's a new VOD out called Exclusive or XCC-clusive, I don't know. It's a 9-minute part, it's only $5. It features Bobby Spazoff and Omri, and you just know that that whole scene always puts out fire content. This is going to be one you're not going to want to miss. Them Goods posted a cool little doco called Them Now, going into the journey that Them has taken over the last 3 years. And it was a really good watch. Highly recommend that one. Nick Lomax started a new series on his channel called Favorite Spots. The first one being his favorite spot. And it was a really good watch for multiple reasons. You definitely want to check that one out as well. One of the dopest dudes I get to skate with every so often. Had an edit made of him called Plaza that's absolutely amazing. It's really creative and really well put together. I highly recommend checking that one out as well. Also had an edit sent to me that is a skateboarder trying out rollerblading for a month. And it was really interesting. It's cool to see how a skateboarder skates spots on rollerblades. Definitely recommend checking that one out. And I'm going to end this section on a self-promotion. I just completed a series that I think is the best one I've ever made yet. I'm going to link to a playlist that takes you from start to finish, and that's my journey through the E-Feast competition, starting off with the final edit and then going through the B-roll for each part. I put a lot of time into this, and I think it really came together nice, and it really tells you the story of how hard this edit was for me, and also features the injury that has got me off skates still right now, and it has been, I keep saying 3 months, I'm not too sure, but it's been a long time. But anyway, I'd really appreciate it if you check that one out. And that's finally it for the final episode of 2020 of Bladies News. Links to absolutely everything will be in the description down below. I don't want to see any comments asking for links to stuff. It's always been there. I want to give a huge shout out to my Bladies News correspondents, James, Ben, Matt, and Sonic Sports, as well as the rest of my patrons and members. I really couldn't do this without them. But also a massive, huge thank you to everyone, especially everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate it. This show has came so far over the last year, and that's all because of you guys watching, and I really, really appreciate it. Stay safe, guys, and I'll see you next year. Peace out.